Hi everybody, I'm Chris from YHM. Today we're going to take you through how our Q.D mount system works for our sound suppressors. Now this mount system has been out for quite a while, it hasn't changed, but we still get a lot of questions as to just how it works. So I'm going to take you through a quick run through today. The two main components to the system are the Q.D mount, whether it be brake or flash hider, and the suppressor itself. So as you'll see on our Q.D mount here, you'll see some shined up marks because this is a used mount. So at the front here, this is the surface that engages our support system on models that incorporate it. It's an extra buffer of safety so that the can doesn't go way out of alignment and cause a baffle strike. The main component to the Q.D mount system is the taper just in front of the threads on the Q.D mount. When those two tapers come together, that's what actually seals and locks the can down. This taper here has a matching taper inside the suppressor. When those two tapers come together, they create a lock and a seal. That holds the suppressor on, and it seals the threads from carbon and other debris getting to them, locking it up. So even though you hear that clicking mechanism, most people think, oh, that's the lock, and they think a couple of clicks, good to go. What you actually want to do is really snug that down so that those two tapers seat. Because when those two tapers come together, it solidly locks the can, and it also seals the threads from gas, carbon, any kind of debris that could build up in there. Once you hear those clicks, give it a quick snap to lock those two tapers together. Now the Q.D mount has two main components, the main body of it, and then this tooth washer back here. Now this is basically a collar with 4 teeth on it, and it's spring mounted, so there's spring tension on it. So anybody who's familiar with the mount is also familiar with that ratcheting or clicking sound you get as you tighten the can up. What a lot of people don't realize is all of the inner workings to the design. So what we have now is a cutaway view of one of our suppressors, so you can see just how the Q.D mount and the suppressor interface in real time. So when you slide the suppressor over the mount, the first thing that is going to happen on models that support it is that support system at the front is going to have to engage. So once that starts to engage, right up here, that lines up the threads. So if this were out of whack where you could cross thread or anything like that, it physically won't let you engage the threads until everything's lined up straight. Then as you start to turn the can onto the host firearm, the threads back here engage together. Now our main goal here in order to lock everything up is to get these two tapered surfaces mated together. When those two tapers come together, that's what physically locks the can in place. That's what holds it in place. Now the teeth you can see on the locking collar here engage the teeth in the back of the suppressor. That's our secondary mounting system. So as you go ahead and screw the can onto the Q.D mount, the teeth on the collared washer bounce over the grooves in the back of the suppressor, and that continues to happen all the way down until those two tapered surfaces come together. So once the can is fully tightened onto the mount, you can see there's no gap in between the two tapered surfaces here. The support is fully engaged on the body of the flash hider, and the two threads are obviously still mated together. Now on some instances, the tooth washer may not line up 100% with the grooves on the back. You may find when you crank it down that the tooth on the washer falls in between teeth on the suppressor. Now we'll show you a remedy for that on the flip side here. So one of the questions that people have all the time is they tighten their can down all the way, and what happens is this. One of the teeth on our lock washer falls right in between grooves on the suppressor body here. No problem. As long as the can's tightened down all the way, those two tapers are together. There's a little bit of slop built into this tooth washer here, so you can actually back it off a click, and it'll drop right into those grooves for a little added security. Now what you don't want to do is actually turn the suppressor body one click back, because that will unlock those tapered surfaces, and you won't be completely seated on the taper. Your can won't be completely locked down. So to take the can off, very simple. You do not need to pull on this collar. There's no levers, latches, switches, buttons, anything. Simply twist it off. That breaks that tapered seal. Comes right off that easy, about the same turn and a half. So as you twist the suppressor off of the host firearm, that tapered surface backs out of the taper in the suppressor, and the teeth continue to fall in and out of the grooves on the back of the can. At a certain point, the teeth no longer engage, but the threads and the support are engaged. So like I talked about before, right now our secondary locking mechanism is completely disengaged. The teeth don't rub at all, but you can see there's still a lot of surface here on that support system that's still engaged even as you start to back the threads out. So hopefully that answers some of the questions you may have had about our Q.D mounting system, and also helps explain its simplicity, ruggedness, and why we designed it the way that we did. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned to YHM for more.